All right, we are moving on to something called combining like terms. If you are organized and good at adding positives and negatives, this should be pretty simple for you. So we have two goals. Goal one, understand which terms can be combined in an expression. And the second one is to add positive and negative terms together. So for each of these problems, you're going to be given an expression, and we're trying to simplify that as far down as we can go. So, like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponent. So we can only add things together if they have the same variable and the same exponent. It's like if you go to a grocery store and you buy two different types of fruit. If you have 3 oranges and 5 apples, I'll write that. So like 3 oranges plus 5 apples, that does not equal 8 like orange apples. That is just two separate things of 3 oranges and 5 apples. You could say that there are 8 pieces of fruit, but that wouldn't do as much good. So because these labels are different, we can't add them together. Whereas here in the examples, 3x and 5x have the same label, so we could add those together. Just like 9y and negative 4y, those have the same label, so we can combine those. And these terms have exponents, but they're both x squared, so we can still add them together. So we are looking for things to add together, and we are not adding together things that have different terms. So get to some examples. I'll do 3 examples, and then you'll have time to pause your video and do some on your own. So what I do is I use a box method, and the reason that I box my terms are so I, A, don't leave out a term, and B, I don't want to lose any negative signs. So I'm going to put my first term in a box, so that is 6x, and I'm looking for any other term that has the same label. So I want just an x, no exponent. So first one here is the negative 3x, and that negative sign is why I use a box, because if I just put this in a box, that looks like a positive 3x, but I forgot the negative sign. So you're going to want to box in the sign as well. And I know that 6x minus 3x, or 6x plus negative 3x, is equal to 3x. Now I'm moving on to my next term. I have a positive 8 and a positive 5. I can combine those to be positive 13. And that's all it takes. Next one, a little more complicated, but same idea. 2x squared. So I'm looking for any term with x squared. Negative 4x squared. Combine those, and I have a negative 2x squared. Now I'm looking at a positive 9x. I don't have any terms that I can combine with 9x, so that's going to stay the same. Now I have negative 7 and positive 3. That's going to equal a negative 4, or minus 4. Okay, last example that I will do, and then I'll let you try some. So a negative 4x, a positive 6x. Notice that I cannot combine this one because that's a y. So 2x. Now I'm going to box the positive 5y. That's all by itself. And a negative 8 combined with a negative 2 is a negative 10. It's important to remember that because we're always combining, you can think of them as adding, but this is a negative 8, this is a negative 2, but if you think of it as negative 8 minus 2, you're going to end up with the same answer. All right, your turn to try this one. I'll give you a chance to pause it. All right, so 4x squared and a negative 7x squared gives us negative 3x squared. Positive 5x, positive 3x is positive 8x, and minus 9 at the end. If your terms are in a different order, that's perfectly fine, as long as the positives and negatives are correct. So if for whatever reason you had negative 9 plus 8x minus 3x squared, that would be perfectly fine. Usually when people write these, they start with the bigger exponents on the left and work down to the individual numbers on the right. But it doesn't mean that your answer would be wrong. Last one, go ahead and pause this and try it. All right, so you could start here if you wanted. If you wanted to organize it with your exponents, you could start here, sort of up to you. I'm going to put the 4x squared on the far left just because I like my bigger exponents to be on the left. And now I'm going to continue with my y's. Negative 3y and negative 5y give me negative 8y. 2x and negative 4x give me a negative 2x. And me being me, I would probably rearrange this into 4x squared minus 2x minus 8y, but that would not be necessary. Come grab your worksheet and good luck.